Hello, everyone who's here already. Welcome. You all are very prompt and early. Love it. Hello to everyone who's hopping on. Welcome, welcome. How's everyone's evenings going?
Hi.
Hi, Des. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I see that baby.
Yes. No one is in bed yet. No one.
My house either. I think my kids are going to watch The Chosen for a little bit.
Oh, fun. Yeah, we have a movie on in there. My husband's not home yet, so
Yeah.
I'm so excited though to hear Sarah.
Yes, me too.
I think I'm going to pull it up on my phone. That way I am mobile. So there might be two of me now. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Crystal. Hey, Natalie. And everyone else. Hey, if you're able, turn your videos on. We love to see you guys. No one has to come like presentable. Babies are welcome.
Oh,
There's Melissa. Hello. Natalie. Sarah's here. Welcome, Sarah. Your hair looks gorgeous tonight.
Thank you. First shower in like 3 days.
Yay. Did you make it to the beach today?
No, it turns out we're going to go on Saturday. My husband and the kids are at the beach so that the house can be quiet. So they just went for a quick thing, though. They all got new wetsuits today, so they're really excited.
Oh, that's so fun. Great way to start off the spring weather. Yay.
Yeah.
Looks like Jennifer's hopping on. Lauren's here. It is recording, so I already double checked that. So we're set for that. Hi, Nicole. Awesome. Welcome, everyone. We'll give everyone like another minute or two if that sounds good.
Yeah. I'm so glad I made it. I tried to jump on one time. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I tried to jump on. I can't remember whose Zoom it was, but it was like totally full. So if you don't get in early, you don't get in.
Yeah, I guess it's 100 people. I'm not sure what I pay for exactly with Zoom. Oh, it's asking for a password with my phone.
UBAM.
Is it UBAM?
Mm-hmm.
Figured that's what I did. That worked. Okay. I am making two of me because all 5 kids are still awake and I will be moving. Oh, awesome. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Jennifer. Welcome, welcome. Oh, sorry. Okay, I fixed that. Sorry about that. It's 8 already. Do you want to wait one more minute, Sarah, or be prompt and start right away?
Whatever works for everybody else. I have left at the beginning, so I could talk for a little bit before I officially start.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you sharing your screen? Do I need to do anything for you on my end?
I think if you make me a co-host, I can share my screen.
Okay, let's see if I can do that. It says one participant can share at a time.
Mhm.
Will that work?
Well, we'll test it. I'll see if it
Okay.
lets me share my screen.
I'll keep looking for how I can make you a co-host though.
Okay. It might, host disabled participant screen sharing. Okay.
Disabled?
So yeah, I think it's one of your settings. If you go to your Zoom account, the My Account part, it has settings on the left and then a bunch of things you can check off. And so that's one of the boxes you check is participants can share screen.
Oh, so you're good.
Well, if you check that box, I'll be good. I don't think it's going to let me until you change this setting. Does that make sense? If you go in your Zoom account on the left, let's see, I don't know what's left on the screen for you, but if you go on your left, it'll say settings, you click on that, and then it'll have a box you can check so that participants can share screen too.
Okay, I'm looking. I'm looking in settings. Gosh, there's a lot of stuff in there.
There is.
Screen sharing. I found it.
Yay.
Save all participants. Okay, I think I did it. Did that fix it?
Okay, let me check. Probably. Let's see. Share screen. Oh, it's not changing it. It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
I just put it to all participants and saved.
If you click on the 3 dots in my box here, does it let you put me as a co-host that way?
The 3 dots. I'm so sorry. Where are the 3 dots?
Oh, that's okay. If you hover over an individual person's box, there's those 3
Oh,
dots.
that. Okay.
Yeah. And I think you should be able to change me there. Or if you click on participants.
Yes. Okay. You are the host now.
Okay. I think that should work. Yes. Okay. Good
Okay.
job.
Yay. All right. So sorry for that, guys. Technical problems.
Well, hopefully this is helpful technologically for everybody too, right?
Yeah, I learned something tonight. So yay.
I just learned it recently myself. So,
Awesome.
we're always learning, right?
Okay. Yes. Well, welcome officially to everyone who is hopping on. We're so glad you guys are here. So Sarah Carter is one of our amazing senior execs in Story Tribe. I want to say you're almost going on 6 years. Am I right, Sarah, with the company?
That'll be 6 years in September.
Okay, we're almost there. So 5.5 or so. So Sarah is just amazing. She's a homeschool mom of 3. If you know the colors, she's a high gold blue. So very relational, but also very organized. So I am very excited to learn from her tonight and hear all about her system. So I apologize, but I am probably going to leave and listen with my earbuds as I put babies to bed. But Sarah, I'm gonna let you take it away. And I'm so excited to hear and learn from you tonight.
All right. Thank you, Caitlin. Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, Caitlin is my direct sponsor. So yay, Caitlin. So excited that you asked me to join nearly 6 years ago. I can't even believe it's been that long. It's crazy. But yeah, I am so honored, you guys, to be here with you today. So thank you for letting me come share with you. Thank you for spending your time with me tonight. I'm assuming many of you guys have big goals if you're here because you're doing a great thing in investing in yourself and investing in your business. Trainings are one of the best ways to do that. I still love trainings almost 6 years later. I always learn something. I feel like everybody can teach you something. So it's really good to invest in yourself in that way. And I hope that you guys are all signed up for convention too, because that is one of the best places to get training. I have not gone to a convention and not promoted a level afterwards. So there's a plug for convention if you guys aren't there yet. Okay, so before I officially launch into what I have to say about systems, I wanted to play a quick little game with you guys. So you guys want to play a quick game with me? Yeah. Okay, it's easy, I promise. All right, so we're gonna play a quick game of Never Have I Ever. So hopefully you guys have played it before. It's super simple. You just hold up your hands like this, your 5 fingers, and I'm gonna make a series of statements, and if it describes you, you just put down one of your fingers, okay? I won't do anything too scary, I promise. Okay, so I'm gonna play 2. So never have I ever gone skydiving. I have not got. Daz, you've gone skydiving? Oh, no. Okay. I was going to say it's so cool. Never have I ever been to Georgia. You've been in Georgia. Okay. So a couple of you guys. Never have I ever been to Hobby Lobby. Okay, a couple of you guys. Never have I ever been able to whistle. Okay, I thought I'd get a couple of you guys with that one. Okay, let's switch a little bit into UBAM. Never have I ever forgotten to get back to someone who's going to ask their friends to see if they had enough people to have a party. I put down my finger. I hope you guys saw that. Never have I ever forgotten about a booking completely. Oops, I've done that. Never have I ever forgotten to tell a customer a book is back in stock when I said I would. Okay, I totally have done that. And thank God that UBAM has made it possible for them to email themselves now, right? That helps. Never have I ever forgotten to follow up with a potential recruit. You guys can see I've got lots of fingers down here. Never have I ever forgotten to message a hostess when I really should have. Okay, so most of us have either no fingers or very few fingers, right? If you've been in this business for a while, or even if just recently, it's super easy to do these things, even if your goals are big. So if that's the case, what happened? And I'll show you. So let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. You guys are going to see my messy backdrop because that's not one of the things that I have recently organized. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing this now. Let's see. Slide, present. Okay. Okay, so here's a quote you guys are probably familiar with. I know that you've seen a lot of really great James Clear quotes from the book Atomic Habits popping up in Story Tribe. This is one of my favorite ones from when Heather Cobb shared it a couple of years ago in an ELC. He says, forget about goals, focus on systems instead. Goals are about the results you want to achieve. Systems are about the process that leads to those results. The purpose of setting goals is to win the game. The purpose of building systems is to continue playing the game. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. It's just as convicting to me reading this right now as it was a couple of years ago when I first heard it. Systems are important, and those are the reasons why sometimes we forget to get back to people, or we don't follow through on something that we mean to do, but we just completely forget about. So let me tell you what I mean when I'm talking about systems. So when I talk about systems, I mean an organized collection of helpful habits integrated to accomplish an overall goal. So it's kind of an accumulation of habits. A lot of what I'm going to share with you tonight is things that I've been gleaning from James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. Again, he is the convention speaker this year. It's a fantastic book. I first read it, 2 or 3 years ago, but I keep coming back to it over and over again. It's a great one. So no matter what your goal is, you need a system to help you get there, and even to move beyond that goal. There is no one size fits all system. So I'm not going to share with you the magic formula, 3-step process to how to get everything you've ever wanted, because it does vary based on your color. It varies based on your personality. It varies based on you, because we're all unique and our businesses are unique too. Okay, I want to speak for just a moment to those of you guys who might be high orange, because I know I have some high oranges on my team, and system is sort of a bad word in the orange world. For a lot of people, it sounds like, oh, that sounds restrictive and boring and like a lot of work. But the thing is that you actually, all of you already have a system, whether you know it or not. The question is it serving you well? And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. In case you're wondering and thinking, oh man, I care about people, not systems. The good thing about systems is that they free you up to spend your time on people. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the following things. We're going to talk about why we need systems. We're going to talk about what we need them for. We're going to talk about what kind exist, and then how to implement them. Okay, so first of all, why do we need systems? I know I just shared a little bit about that, but here are some of the things that systems foster. So one of the main things that I use systems for is consistency. They definitely help me to make sure that I'm doing what I think I'm doing. I don't know about you guys, But when I think I've really messaged everyone and I keep track of the people I message, I think I've messaged 100 people and I've maybe messaged 20. This is true story. This happened the last time I was messaging my VIP group about a VIP party. It's a lot easier to put it on paper to keep yourself honest, which is number 2, accountability. It helps so much to have that accountability of having things on paper or in a spreadsheet, but somewhere where you can see them outside of your own head. Longevity is another one. Remember that James Clear quote, right? He was talking about how we want to continue to play the game. In order to continue in UBAM, to continue to build on what we have, it's important to have those systems. And then it provides that clarity that I talked about as well. Okay, and ultimately, it gives us more of what we really want, which is freedom. I have a quote for you by Thomas Edison. We happen to be studying American history this year, so this is one of my favorite quotes by him. And he says, "Being busy does not always mean real work. The object of all work is production or accomplishment, and to either of these ends, there must be forethought, system, planning, intelligence, and honest purpose, as well as perspiration. Seeming to do is not doing." And again, that's where it really helps to put things down on paper. It also helps us because then we have less mental load, right? Because we're all busy. We all wear many hats. We all have lots of responsibilities in UBAM and beyond that. And having a system can help free up your brain for the other things you need to do, so you spend less time having to keep everything all in your brain at once. Okay, so here's what we need systems for within UBAM. We need systems for parties. So for the pre-party part, we need systems for during the party. We need a system for after the party. How are we going to be following up with people? We need a system for bookings. We need one for recruiting. And then we also need one for what we're going to do daily, weekly, and monthly. I know this all sounds like a lot all at once, but I'm going to break it down for you, so hopefully it doesn't seem quite so scary. Because the truth is, the more things that you can automate through a system, the more freedom you're going to have. Because again, you're not going to spend as much time having to think about these things. All right, so here's some examples of systems. Okay, so let's talk about parties. We're going to break them down. So let's talk about the pre-party portion of the party. So our focus here is we're focusing on party setup, and we're really focusing on building those relationships, right? Both with our hostess, their hostess coaching, and with guests as well, right? So it really helps us out to have a system for how we do this and to do it consistently, to know for your own self, how many times am I going to go live pre-party? Am I going to go live pre-party? Am I going to do it in the party? Am I just going to show videos? It really helps to do something the same way every single time, right? It's one of the reasons why we encourage having a consistent party night or consistent party nights per week, so that when your host is coaching, you're telling everybody the same thing at the same time. I will tell you up front, I'm a pencil and paper kind of gal. There's lots of really great technology out there too, for those of you guys that like using tech. But a lot of my systems are pretty low budget, easy things to do. So hopefully that encourages you. But at any rate, for pre-party, as far as systems that we need, I've listed here, it helps to have a checklist. Now, again, we're all different. So I know some of you might see that and think, oh my gosh, I hate checklists. I see it, I just eyes glaze over, I'm not doing it. That is fine. I'm not here to tell you you have to use a checklist. And that's the great thing, is that there's so many different ways to do the same thing. So I'm going to give you all kinds of different ideas, and you can kind of pursue the thing that works the best for you and your personality. But checklists can be helpful. Having scripts, especially a hostess coaching script. And if you don't have something like that, ask your team leader. And I use what I'm calling phone blurbs also. I take the things that I tend to say most frequently to my hostesses when I'm hostess coaching, because it's basically the same instructions every time, right? And I put them on my phone in the notes section of my phone. So that way, if she responds to me at a time where maybe I'm out grocery shopping and I happen to have some time, so I'm kind of checking in, I'm not thinking, oh no, what was I supposed to say next? I forget. Where are we at all of this? You've already got what you want to say right there. Now, again, Hi Blue also. So this is not to say that, you're just going to copy paste everything and not have a real conversation with your hostess. It just means that you can add the conversational stuff to the specific directions and copy paste. It makes it a lot faster to do. So that's one thing I've found to be very helpful. But if you can really do this well with systems, with pre-party, it's going to help you with bookings, it's going to help you with recruiting, and it's going to help you to reach your goals. There are a lot of ways to do this besides pencil and paper. I know some people use Trello for this. You might use Project Broadcast. You might party on Squee. You might party on Facebook. I know that looks a little differently. I do both Squee and Facebook, although predominantly Facebook. But they're basically, a lot of the system kind of stuff is the same. But I'll tell you guys, the harder it is to find something that you need, the less likely it is that you're going to do it. So make things easy for yourself by setting up a system like using notes on your phone for the most common instructions for your hostess that you can easily copy paste and kind of add your own flair to. So I'm going to show you guys an example of what I use for my pre-party checklist. I know this is a little bit blurry, so I apologize. I'm happy to share this later if anybody needs something like this. But this is actually the checklist I created the week I joined UBAM 5.5 years ago to keep myself from growing crazy, because I had no idea what I was doing when I first joined. I've just kind of gradually, it's evolved over the years. But a lot of it's the same kinds of things that I still do. You can see there it's by day. So I just fill in the dates on the side there. For how many days before the party it is. And so I know every day what I'm doing. And then I keep these hostess checklists in a binder. And that way, when I turn to them, when I sit down for my work time, I can go down and where am I? What am I doing? Okay, it's 5 days before. Did I add the hostess to her group yet? Did I have her message her friends? Okay, I did. Check, goes to the back of the pile. So super easy. I'm not having to scan messages. I'm not having to try to figure out where I am in the party process. I already know. And that's really what you want, is as much of this stuff as you can have systematized so that you can look at it at a glance and know where you are. The easier it's going to be and the more productive your work time is going to be too. Okay, so during the party, our focus is on recruiting, we're focusing on bookings, we're focusing on sales. And so the kind of systems that we need for that are ways to track guest activity. You can do this through a spreadsheet. You can do it through just a notebook. It doesn't have to be fancy. I know one of the upper level leaders, Heather Pulley, just uses a notebook and it's not pretty. She just uses it without worrying about what anybody else thinks, because that works for her and that's fine. So please know your system doesn't have to be complicated to work. It just has to work for you. Again, you can use a tracker. There's any number of ways to keep track of things. But the main point I want to make is please keep track of what's going on in your party. And I'll show you an example of the kinds of things I track when I'm doing my own parties as well. But I will tell you, the more you track now, the easier it's going to be later for follow-up. So this is helping yourself out later. And I'll show you what mine looks like. So here's my party tracker. Again, you'll notice it's not fancy. There's no special graphics on it, but it gets the job done for me. And so this is what I use. So I'll just kind of go over what's on here. So if you look at the R on the far left, that stands for recruit. So if I recruit someone, I'll put a check mark there. The H stands for host. They've said they'd host. I'll check there. I do like to write down their order and the amount number. Now, that helps because later during follow-up, if I have to do a booking blitz because my calendar's low or something's going on, I can easily go back and see, okay, who has dropped, upwards of $50 on books, within the last year or so. And I will ask those people first about hosting a party because clearly they've shown interest, right? That S is for shipping. So once I send them their shipping information, I put a check mark there. I write their name in that column, their kids. So I'll write down the names of their kids if they give them to me, their ages, their interests. And this, you guys, I cannot stress enough how important it is to do that part because, again, later when you're following up with them, or maybe now they're hosting for you, or it's been a few months and now you're asking them to book a party, it is so useful to take that valuable information they're giving you about their family and be able to be personal with them, to be able to say, hey, by the way, how did Mike like that book on cars? Or maybe a new book has come in that's like one of the ones that the kids really liked. Maybe they told you that they liked Diary of a Wimpy Kid or something like that. And you're able to say, hey, guess what? We just got a new book that's a lot like that book that you mentioned. But that information will help you so much going forward. So highly recommend filling that out. And then notes and suggestions I use for things like if a guest had a lot of trouble with the technology, maybe, and I'm going back and I'm asking her about hosting a party, I'm probably not going to suggest a Facebook party. I might suggest an email party or a catalog party or something that's a little bit easier. So the more you know your hostesses and know your customers, the easier it's going to be to get bookings and to recruit, because you're able to build that relationship with them. I can't emphasize enough how important it is for people when you remember the names of their kids. And I don't know, 20 parties into the UBAM year, you're not going to remember the names of everybody's kids, right? So help yourself out, take this information down while you're doing the party so you don't have to go back through past parties and have to really waste your time skimming, because you already have the information right there. Okay, after the party. So the after the party focus is recruiting, booking, and sales still. You need systems to show consistent and timely follow-up. The farther you get away from that party, the harder it's going to be to maintain everybody's interest, right? And to maintain that relationship with them. So that's important. Again, I use for follow-up messages, I use notes on my phone. I have that for both Facebook and Squee on my phone. I've got just a note that says follow-up, or I think it says next day follow-up on it, so I can search and easily find it. But it has everything I need there. So for example, for next day host follow-up, it'll say something like, hey, name, and I'll fill in the name. Thank you so much for your party last night. It was so much fun. Just want to give you a quick update. Here's what the party's looking like so far. And I have a blank there so I can put their party scorecard in there that tells them who came and all that kind of stuff. And then I'll say, your total so far is this, which is so exciting. It's getting you closer to our host special. I'll give them the host special. Today, we're going to be focusing on messaging. Here's how you're going to message your friends. Number one, thank everybody who came and ordered. That's a great time to, send them or to encourage them to host. Number two, say thank you to your friends who came last night who haven't ordered yet. Tell them that you're glad that they came. Number three, here's a message for those who haven't come. So I'm not going to go too much farther into detail. Hopefully you all kind of know how to do that. And that's kind of already been said. If you don't, talk to your team leader. She can help you with specific wording for that. But it really helps, again, to just have it right here, because when I did not have that information right here, I'd wake up in the morning and think, ugh, I have to message that hostess. Oh man, I'm going to have to type out all this stuff and look up all this stuff, and it's going to take forever. And then I'd kind of procrastinate. So that really helps you to just be able to fill in the blanks and send right away. So again, making it automatic. Let's see, as far as how I organize these things, for the follow-up, I have, as I said, a party binder, and I have different tabs. So I have a tab for upcoming parties where I put all my party checklists. I have a tab for in-progress parties. So I haven't closed them yet, but they've already kind of happened. I have a tab for needs reward totals while I'm waiting for people, hostesses, to get back to me and that kind of thing. Waiting for rewards. I'm waiting for them to tell me what they want, or waiting on payment. So those are kind of the 5 tabs that I have. And that way I can just file things in there. And again, at a glance, I can tell what it is that they still need. Belinda Ellsworth, who's kind of a direct sales guru, talks about follow-up needing to be 2 days after, 2 weeks after, 2 months after. It is really hard to do that, right? Especially if you don't have a system. So that's one of the reasons why systems are so important, is they keep people in front of you, right? So that you can keep your attention on them and give them the best service. So there are lots of different programs that can do this. You can do this through Project Broadcast. You can have reminders sent to you from Trello. Again, pencil and paper gal. So all I do is I use my calendar. I've just got a calendar from Target. It's nothing fancy. But I like to look back at when my parties were, and I'll plan that in. And I'll go a little bit deeper into that as I get into follow-up. Okay, so here's an example of my post-party checklist. So this one helps me because, again, I can just look at it at a glance and see, okay, did I tell the hostess to message all her people? Yes, okay, check. There's 2 days after, there's once all have ordered. I don't know about you guys, but I was really bad about sending party prizes, remembering to do the party drawing. I don't know why. I think just as it got farther away from the party, especially if you have people who kind of lag on ordering and you're still kind of following up with people farther after the party, it gets hard. So this reminds me, and then when I'm asking someone to host again 6 months or a year later, I can look back at this and see, did I do the party price drawing? Yes, I did. Okay, see, I wrote in who won. Okay, great. And then if she asks me, I'm able to tell her without having to do a bunch of digging and stuff too. So again, this is just an at a glance thing that really helps me out, so I don't have to keep everything up here because it's not going to stay up there, right? Mama brain is real. So, okay, we're going to shift gears here to talking about bookings. So that was parties. This is bookings. This is another thing we need a system for. Again, our focus is consistency and record keeping. We need systems needed for daily messaging to help us keep track of who we messaged, right? And what we said, and to keep a potential bookings list as well is super helpful. So to do this, again, I just use a paper calendar, nothing fancy over here. You can do this in a notebook if you want to. There are online calendars, like you can use your Google Calendar to keep track of bookings, or Artful Agenda. I mean, there's all kinds of things out there. So you just need to find what works best for you. I've also found, as I mentioned before, it's helpful to have a consistent party night or party nights so that my family knows what's going on also. And so it streamlines your hostess coaching. So that makes it easier for you. And then I tell my family, we have family meetings on Sunday nights, and I'll tell them then, okay, remember, I do have 2 parties on Monday night and, you know, 1 on Thursday, or whatever the case may be. So my family's kind of apprised of that too. So one of the most important things with bookings, though, again, is consistency. And one of the ways to consistently do that is to make sure you're planning in time for bookings each day. So I know that you guys have been hearing a lot of great things from the Power Hour and Story Tribe. There's been so much good training. I hope you guys have been checking that out too. The first week was about bookings. So there's lots of good stuff there. But this is an important part of our daily Power Hour. And for those of you guys that aren't sure what that is, again, it's just that hour we spend each day in 15-minute increments in 4 different categories. I'll kind of go into that more a little bit later. But bookings are something we should be asking for daily. Now, I don't see bookings necessarily for me, it's 5. I really try to send out 5 booking messages each day. And they're not always necessarily straight up, hey, you want to host a party? Sometimes that looks for me like checking in on someone first. Like maybe I've commented on their Facebook post and now I'm messaging them personally and saying, oh my goodness, you know, I saw that your son just turned 2. I can't even believe it. You know, how did that happen so fast? And starting a conversation with them. So sometimes I look at that as a conversation, not necessarily a straight up booking message, but making sure I'm consistently doing that 5 times a day. And you can make it visual too. I know sometimes I've used things like, you know, moving paper clips from one jar to another one. And I sit down and I can't let myself get up and finish working until I've moved every single paper clip. It can be anything, but you just want to make it visual. So you remind yourself to consistently do it. Tiffany Wagon Connect, another upper level leader, had a really great training in Story Tribe a while back. You can search for it there, called 20 and 20. She talks about how she sent out 20 booking messages each day. And she had this whole system on how to do it, but basically 20 messages. You're following up with people, you're sending out 20 more messages, but you're filling that in with people that are past party guests, people that are past hostesses, People who are maybe on your chicken list, you're afraid to ask, but there's no shortage of people that you can ask for bookings. And if you do that, if you consistently send out at least 5 messages, booking messages each day, that's going to help your calendar stay consistently full. So you're not stuck doing a whole bunch of booking blitzes, which are not a lot of fun when you have to do them, right? So this kind of helps alleviate stress in the long run if you can be consistent and have a system for that. Okay, and the next area is recruiting. And hopefully you're looking at this and noticing, wait a minute, this looks a lot like the booking slide. It is exactly like the booking slide on purpose, because recruiting is something that you want to do consistently too. You want to be sending out those messages. And again, it's a good idea to kind of figure out for yourself what that looks like. Does that look like, okay, I'm going to set a goal of sending out 5 recruiting messages each day? Am I going to send out 10 recruiting messages each day? If this is a really scary area for you, commit to sending out 1 each day. That's totally fine. By the end of the week, you'll have sent 5 messages. How awesome is that, right? I think one of the main points I love in James Clear's book is he talks about improving by 1%, right? Just 1%. So he's not saying shoot for the moon and try to do all these things at once. Just improve 1%, one step at a time. Okay, so let's talk overall big picture. This is kind of our last area we're going to look at before we talk about how to implement this. But it's important to have monthly, weekly, and daily tasks. So you'll see the first thing on there says backward design. That's because I was a teacher in my pre-kid life. And that was one of the things that they taught us in kind of teacher college, is to figure out what is your end goal and then work your way back at what you need to do to get there. So I know this is not news to you guys, probably. We've heard this consistently from a lot of the leaders in Story Tribe, but it's really true. If you have a goal, it really helps to know where you're going and then figure out, okay, what do I need to do each month to make that goal? What do I need to do each week to make that goal? What do I need to do each day to meet that goal? And then stay a step ahead there. So again, I'm not fancy. I use my planner to stay on top of these kinds of things. I like using the big calendar there and then the daily calendar. And then what I like to do, and this is, again, not fancy. If you want fancy, if you want pretty, if you like fun, look at that awesome tracker that Caitlin shared this month from Gina Shear that talks about the Power Hour. It has it all divided up. It's super pretty. I'm not super fancy. I just take my planner and I divide it into 4. That's all I do. I just draw squares like that. And then what I'll do is I'll put everything I need to do that day for hostess coaching here. I'll put everything I need to do that day for, well, for me, since I'm a leader, I put my team stuff here. I'll put bookings here and recruiting here. But that way I can see at a glance what I'm going to do in each of those categories every day. And I really try to plan this out each night. Okay, so that I'm looking at it the day before. Who am I messaging for my booking messages? Who am I going to message for my recruiting messages? What do I need to do for my hostess coaching? And it's all right there in my planner, so that when it's time for my Power Hour, whether that means I'm going to do the whole thing at once and really do those 15 increments all in a row, or whether it just means I'm going to do 15 minutes on bookings and later I'm going to do my 15 minutes on recruiting, doesn't matter. Whatever it is I do, when I sit down, I don't have to waste any time thinking, who was I supposed to message? Who my hostess coaching? I already know because it's right here. So again, systems are all about freedom. They're all about automating as much as you can to make things simple so that you can easily follow through on them. So, and then I recommend doing the hardest thing first too. So if recruiting is hard for you, don't make that be your last category that you go to. Make that one of your first categories, because that way it'll give you the confidence boost you need to do everything else. And you'll have that good feeling of, look at this, I accomplished something that was scary, you know, and move on from there. And mindset is so huge. If it helps you look at it as ways to serve people, instead of just to-dos. I know the word to-do is not very inspiring to me, probably not to you guys either. But when I look at it as, who can I serve today through my hostess coaching? Who can I serve today by offering the business to them? It changes my mindset and it makes me more likely to want to do it. Okay, So here's our final section here. How do we implement this? There's a lot of information that's been shared. So I'm going to give you guys some practical steps on how to do this. So the first one is take some time to reflect. So again, here's another James Clear quote. He says, reflection and review enables the long-term improvement of all habits because it makes you aware of your mistakes and helps you consider possible paths for improvement. So I put together, again, a simple handout to help you guys and to help myself too, really. It's something that we can all benefit from, just to reflect on our own systems. Because again, like I said, each of us has a system, right? Even if it's a system of not having a system, you have a system. So the idea is to sit down and take some time really considering each of those areas I shared about: parties, bookings, recruits, your daily, monthly, weekly habits, and figuring out if they're serving you or not. Because there probably are some things you're already doing that are really working and you don't even have to think about them because it just works, right? But there might be other areas where you're thinking, yeah, I could use a little bit more consistency with my bookings, or maybe with making sure I message my hostesses first thing in the morning versus, oh shoot, I need to get that in and it's now late at night, right? So here are 4 things to consider for each of those areas. As you can see, number 1, what do I currently do? Number 2, what is working well for me? And how can I tell? Number 3, what isn't serving me? So when you're asking yourself that question, think, okay, what do I not feel like doing? What makes me feel frustrated or stuck or scared or one of those things? Because chances are that's probably one of your pain points, right? That you can find a solution for. And number 4, what would my ideal system look like for that area? And again, it might look different, right? And it doesn't matter if you're a pencil and paper gal like me, or if you like to do spreadsheets. I know Caitlin does some awesome hostess coaching stuff in spreadsheets. I like to use paper. Again, there's lots of different ways to do the same thing. You just want to find the thing that works the best for you. Okay, so once you've found something you want to try, make it fun. So James Clear talks about habit stacking. Find something you enjoy and add on that new habit. So for example, if Power Hour is new to you and you're going to try doing this and you're going to make sure you touch on each area, let's say that sending booking messages is your weakest area. I would pair that with something I enjoy, like, okay, when I make my coffee in the morning, which I enjoy, which I need, I'm also then going to sit down and send out my 5 booking messages. So that's one thing that you can do. Or you can pair it with, if you enjoy running, whatever it is that you enjoy, it helps if you kind of try to stack that new habit with that. Get pretty supplies. Here's your permission to go to Target, to go on Amazon and get those pretty pens that you've been eyeing. I know with my calendar, I try to color code things because it looks pretty and it makes me happy. It makes me want to work. You can make it a game. So things like giving yourself a go for no challenge. I'm going to message people about bookings until I get 30 no's, or whatever it is, can make it fun. Or challenging an Aussie buddy. Hey, why don't you go up against me, and winner gets a coffee card with how many people who can get to 3 bookings fastest, or whatever. Anyway, you just find what makes it fun for you. And you can create ambiance too, right? You can light a candle, you can put on your favorite playlist. I know, I think her name's Sarah Shaw, shared a playlist recently. She was Team Leader of the Week, I think last week in Story Tribe, but she shared a playlist there. So find music, but find what makes it fun for you, because you'll be more likely to do it. Then you want to experiment. And again, start with one thing. I know it's so easy whenever you hear a training and there's so much good stuff in Story Tribe already to just want to do all of it, right? We want to do all the things because there's just so many good ideas out there. So rein yourself in a little bit. Think about the thing that you are most excited about, that you most want to work on. Go through that reflection sheet and then try that one thing. That there's that 1% improvement. If what you're trying then is sucking your joy, try something else, or it's time to simplify, but keep trying. Find accountability. Tell your team leader, what is it that you're now going to be implementing? Talk to them, let them know so that they can cheer for you, and they can let you know, or you can let them know how to best hold you accountable. use your kids for accountability. I have a team leader, Jen, who did this amazing thing for the UBAM Go, where she has her son coloring in each of the little squares each time she hits one. And so you better believe that kid is talking to her every day. Mom, did you hit another one? Did you get that recruit yet? And she did. It's been really great accountability. So involving your family can be really great for things like that too. James Clear again, he says, it doesn't matter how successful or unsuccessful you are right now. What matters is whether your habits are putting you on the path towards success. You should be far more concerned with your current trajectory than with your current results. So if you're coming to this feeling burdened or feeling like, I don't know where to start with systems, or thinking, okay, I feel overwhelmed, I need to process all of this, don't worry, it's okay. Again, it's all about just that 1% improvement, starting where you are and heading in the right direction. So just a quick analogy here. I know I talked about building the rainbow to your pot of gold here. A rainbow is caused by sunlight and atmospheric conditions. Light enters a water droplet, slowing down and bending as it goes from air to denser water. The light reflects off the inside of the droplet, separating into its component wavelengths or colors. When light exits, it makes a rainbow. So I want you guys to think about is life is going to test our systems. And when we have each component wavelength in place, we have each of those systems in place, it's a beautiful thing. Notice water needs to be present. So if you're facing some rain, know that it's going to help your systems to shine all the brighter. So get out there and strengthen that rainbow. Your pot of gold is on the other side.
Thank you, Sarah. This was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Let me see if I can get out of here so I can stop screen sharing.
Oh, you're good. I loved all the James Clear quotes, though. Those were great.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions for Sarah?
I loved it. It was awesome. Not a question right now. Let me look though.
I loved that your systems date all the way back to the very beginning. I admire that so much. I'm like too orange. I'm ping ponging all over the place. I've tried 20 different things, and I love that you have all of that awesome party history. I wish I had done that. So that's just amazing to me.
It's been helpful. It's crazy though. You should see my binders like this. I mean, it's huge.
I cannot imagine. Like, yeah, file drawers.
Mm-hmm. For sure. My husband's totally saying nerd alert in the background. Totally nerdy, I know.
No, I love that. I had one question, but if anyone else does, feel free to jump in. The power hour sheet that you showed with like your leader task, is that something you just hand drew, or is that like a printable?
It's a printable.
Okay, because I need that.
Yeah. So I'll add it to Storytribe when we're done so everybody can get it if you want it.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it.
I love that you mentioned do hard things first, because we usually just put that off to the end, and it's kind of like that book, Eat the Frog, or something like that, Eat the Frog First.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that reminded me of. And I love the payoff, like the make it fun, like you said. And that was the perfect picture. That was so cute. So thanks for those ideas. Those are great.
Yeah, you're welcome. Make sure I miss anything here.
Yeah, I think all the questions are just like, can you share your party tracker? Just
Okay.
they loved your systems. That's all I'm seeing at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I
lots
can
of sweet
definitely
thank yous
do
and
that.
words. I think everyone loved it.
Oh, thanks everybody. Thank you for listening. As I said too, I mean, we all learn from each other. So there's no one way to do stuff. Feel free to keep sharing on the event page or in Storytribe. If any of you guys have found stuff that's working really well for you, feel free to share it with the rest of us, because I'm still learning along with all of you guys too.
For sure. Well, if there's no other questions, I will let you all go tonight. But again, thank you, Sarah, so much. I know that you put so much time and energy. I mean, those slides were gorgeous. Thank you so much. I know we all learned so much. So Thank you all for coming and spending time with us tonight.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everyone.